Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to slowly lose the world you love? Not because you're tired, but because your vision is fading. For millions of seniors over 60, the colors of life grow dimmer every day. Reading the newspaper becomes a struggle. Faces blur. The television feels too bright, yet the words remain out of focus. And most people think that's just part of getting old. But here's the truth. It's not. Your eyes were designed to last a lifetime. And new research shows that you can actually improve your vision naturally, even after 60, if you give your eyes what they've been missing: the right nutrients, the right habits, and the right care. Eye health isn't only about seeing clearly. It's about keeping your independence, your confidence, and your joy in everyday life. Imagine waking up and being able to read a message without squinting, driving at night without fear, or watching your grandchildren play clearly, comfortably, and without that burning or blurring that's been holding you back. These aren't miracles. They're signs of healthy eyes that can still heal, regenerate, and shine when given the chance. In this video, we'll uncover the truth behind 8 essential nutrients that can repair, protect, and strengthen your eyes. Nutrients used by thousands of seniors around the world to regain clarity, reduce dryness, and prevent vision loss. Most people have never heard of them, yet many of them are found in simple, everyday foods right in your own kitchen. Stay with me until the end, because I'll be sharing a 14-day natural routine that real people over 60 have used to sharpen their eyesight, soothe tired eyes, and feel years younger without surgery or expensive treatments. This could be the turning point your eye health has been waiting for. The hidden problem behind fading eyesight. You see, most seniors start to lose their vision long before they even realize it. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, quietly, without warning. One day, you're reading your favorite book under a lamp. The next, the letters blur. You rub your eyes, thinking it's just fatigue, but it's not. It's your eye health calling for help. After 60, the body produces fewer tears. Blood flow weakens. The nerves in the eyes grow fragile. The result is dryness, blurred vision, night glare, and fading colors. These are not simply signs of aging. They're warning signals that your eyes are losing vital nutrients, like vitamin A, zinc, and carotenoids. Modern life makes it worse. Hours spent looking at bright screens. Processed foods stripped of antioxidants. Unstable blood sugar levels that damage the tiny vessels inside your eyes. Doctors call it oxidative stress, but what it really means is this: your eyes are slowly rusting from the inside out. And yet, even at 70 or 80, your eyes still hold an incredible power, the power to repair and regenerate naturally when given the right support. The human eye is one of the fastest healing organs in the body. You just have to give it what it's been missing all these years. In the next section, we'll explore the 8 key nutrients proven to restore and protect senior eyes. The same nutrients that help reduce cataracts, prevent macular degeneration, and improve vision naturally. Many of them are already in the foods you eat every day. You just haven't been using them the right way. 8 core nutrients to help restore and protect eyesight for people over 60. Now that you understand what's really happening inside your eyes, let's uncover the natural solution. The 8 powerful nutrients that can help you improve vision and protect your eyes from further damage. Each one has been studied for years, yet most seniors never get enough of them. 1 is retinol, active vitamin A. Let's start with the king of eye health, vitamin A in its active form, retinol. It keeps the surface of your eyes moist, supports tear production,
and allows you to see clearly in low light. Without it, the cornea dries out, leading to irritation, blurred vision, and even night blindness. You can get retinol naturally from egg yolks, butter, cheese, and especially cod liver oil. Just 1 teaspoon of pure cod liver oil a day can rehydrate your eyes, reduce redness, and calm that gritty sensation that so many seniors struggle with. 2 is lutein and zeaxanthin, the color protectors. These 2 carotenoids form a natural filter inside the retina, blocking harmful blue light and UV rays. Studies show that seniors who get enough lutein and zeaxanthin have up to a 40% lower risk of macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness after 60. You'll find them in dark leafy greens like kale, spinach, and collard greens. A teaspoon of moringa powder daily is also one of the richest natural sources of these nutrients. 3 is zinc, the vision activator. Zinc is the mineral that helps vitamin A do its job. It activates the enzymes that convert light into images you can actually see. As we age, zinc levels drop dramatically, leading to poor night vision and a higher risk of cataracts. Seafood like oysters, shrimp, and crab are excellent sources, or you can take a supplement of about 25 to 30 milligrams of zinc chelate each day. Think of zinc as the spark plug that fires every time light enters your eye. 4 is benfotiamine, vitamin B1 for the nerves. High blood sugar and refined carbohydrates silently damage your optic nerves over time. Benfotiamine, a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1, helps repair those nerves by restoring the protective myelin sheath around them. It's especially important for seniors with diabetes or prediabetes. Taking 300 milligrams twice a day can reduce eye pain, burning, or sensitivity to light. 5 is vitamins B2 and B3, the dynamic duo. These 2 vitamins protect and energize your eye tissues. Vitamin B3, or niacin, improves blood flow and helps prevent glaucoma. Vitamin B2, or riboflavin, protects the lens from oxidative stress, lowering the risk of cataracts. You can get both by eating salmon, eggs, or simply adding 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast to your meals each day. 6 is bile salts and digestive enzymes, the absorption key. If your digestion is weak, which happens to many people after 60, your body can't absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, and carotenoids. Even if you eat healthy foods, your eyes may still be starving. Taking digestive enzymes or bile salts before meals helps your body break down fats and unlock those nutrients. Look for one that contains purified ox bile for the best results. 7 is omega-3 fatty acids, the eye lubricator. Omega-3s protect the delicate nerves and blood vessels in your eyes. They also reduce inflammation and dryness. Regular intake from wild salmon, sardines, or a teaspoon of Icelandic cod liver oil can relieve dry eyes and irritation within weeks. 8 is vitamin C, the brightness booster. Vitamin C is your eye's shield against oxidative damage. Real vitamin C comes from foods like bell peppers, kale, berries, and acerola cherries, not from synthetic ascorbic acid. It strengthens blood vessels, prevents macular degeneration, and keeps your eyes clear and bright. Smokers or people in polluted environments may need up to 4 times the regular daily amount. Together, these 8 nutrients form the foundation for better vision at any age. They nourish, protect, and even rejuvenate your eyes naturally. And the best part? You can start right now, using simple foods already in your kitchen. But don't stop here. Next, we'll look at 4 forgotten nutrients that thousands of seniors swear by, and 3 surprising mistakes that may be silently undoing all your progress to improve vision naturally.
4 forgotten nutrients and 3 mistakes that make eyes weak quickly.
You've just learned about the 8 essential nutrients that rebuild and protect your eyes. But according to thousands of senior viewers around the world, there are a few more, the forgotten helpers that can make an incredible difference. These are not new discoveries. They're natural secrets that science is only beginning to understand. 1. Taurine and glycine, the nerve stabilizers. Taurine is one of the most abundant amino acids in the eyes. It helps stabilize the retina and protect the delicate optic nerve. It works hand in hand with glycine, a calming compound that improves sleep and reduces oxidative stress in the eyes. Many seniors notice better focus and less twitching after a few weeks of eating taurine-rich foods like seafood, eggs, or bone broth. If you often feel your eyes burning or trembling, this combination may be exactly what your eye health needs. 2. Astaxanthin, the screen shield. Have you ever felt that burning sensation after looking at your phone or computer for too long? That's digital eye strain. Astaxanthin, a red antioxidant found in salmon and algae, helps reduce inflammation caused by blue light exposure. Studies show that people who take natural astaxanthin supplements experience up to 60% less eye fatigue and faster recovery when reading or driving at night. Think of it as sunscreen for your retina, a natural defense against modern light damage. Vitamin E, the lens protector. While vitamin C protects the blood vessels, vitamin E shields the soft lens of the eye from oxidative damage, the main cause of cataracts. Natural sources like almonds, sunflower seeds, and avocado oil are rich in tocopherols and tocotrienols, the 2 forms your body can easily use. Adding just a handful of these foods to your diet every day can slow the clouding of your vision and help maintain brightness in your eyes. Bilberry and eyebright, nature's herbal duo. These herbs have been used in Europe for centuries to support vision and circulation in the eyes. Bilberry strengthens the tiny blood vessels in the retina, while eyebright helps calm irritation and redness. Some people take them in capsules, others as herbal tea. They're not a cure for disease, but they do make daily vision feel more relaxed and comfortable when combined with the right nutrition. Now, even though these nutrients can transform your vision, many people unknowingly sabotage their progress with everyday mistakes. Let's uncover 3 common habits that silently damage senior eyes, even when you're doing everything else right. Mistake 1. Mixing the wrong foods and drinks. Many seniors take their vitamins right after coffee or tea, but caffeine blocks nutrient absorption by up to 60%. If you drink coffee, wait at least 1 hour before taking your supplements or meals rich in vitamins. Mistake 2. Using the wrong oils. Vegetable oils like soybean, canola, and sunflower may sound healthy, but they're highly inflammatory. They oxidize easily, creating free radicals that attack the retina. Over time, they can speed up macular degeneration. Instead, use cold-pressed olive oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed butter. Fats that heal rather than harm. Mistake 3. Overusing eye drops. Many people depend on redness relief drops every day, not realizing they can make dryness worse. These drops constrict blood vessels, giving temporary relief, but cutting off oxygen to your eyes. Use preservative-free artificial tears or natural MSM drops instead. They soothe without side effects. So remember,
It's not only what you add to your life that matters, it's also what you stop doing. Even at 70 or 80, your eyes can still improve naturally if you create the right environment for them to heal. In the next section, you'll learn a simple 7-day meal and lifestyle plan designed especially for seniors. A practical way to bring all of these nutrients together in your everyday life. And at the end, you'll get a printable checklist to help you track your progress and see real changes in just 14 days.
Golden menu and habits to help improve eyesight naturally for people over 60. Now that you know what nutrients your eyes need, it's time to turn that knowledge into action. Here's a simple daily routine designed for seniors over 60 that combines food, timing, and gentle habits to help you improve your vision naturally. This isn't a strict diet. It's a way of living that nourishes both your body and your eyes every single day. Morning Vision Boost. Your first meal sets the tone for your entire day. Start your morning with foods rich in healthy fats and antioxidants. Try one boiled egg or a slice of avocado toast for vitamin A and E. Drink a cup of warm water with lemon to wake up your digestion. Add 1 teaspoon of pure cod liver oil or your omega-3 supplement to strengthen eye lubrication. Avoid coffee for 45 minutes after breakfast to let your nutrients absorb properly. Morning fats plus antioxidants fuel your retina, keep your eyes hydrated, and help you focus clearly. Lunch. The colorful plate. Lunch is when you feed your eyes with color. Include foods packed with lutein, zeaxanthin, and vitamin C. Try grilled salmon or mackerel for omega-3s along with a salad made of kale, spinach, or collard greens. Add orange bell peppers or pumpkin for more carotenoids and finish with a few slices of papaya or berries. Drizzle your salad with olive oil or avocado oil to boost absorption. Dinner. The gentle recovery meal. Evening meals should be light but nourishing. This is when your eyes repair themselves. Try a warm bowl of bone broth or lentil soup for glycine and taurine. Add steamed vegetables like broccoli or squash and a small portion of brown rice or oats to stabilize blood sugar through the night. If your eyes often feel dry or irritated before bed, drink a cup of chamomile or moringa tea to calm inflammation and relax the nerves around your eyes. Between meals, simple habits for better eye health. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes of reading or screen time, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Drink at least 1 liter of mineral water a day to support tear production. Take a 10-minute walk outside for sunlight and vitamin D. And avoid sugary or processed foods that inflame the tiny blood vessels feeding your retina. Vegan or plant-based option. If you follow a plant-based lifestyle, you can still support strong vision. Get lutein and zeaxanthin from spinach, kale, and peas. Omega-3s from chia or flaxseed oil or algae-based supplements. B vitamins from nutritional yeast. Protein from lentils, chickpeas, or tofu. The secret is variety and color. The more color on your plate, the more protection for your eyes. Evening reflection. Rest and reset. Before bed, close your eyes for a moment of gratitude. Place a warm compress over your eyelids for 5 minutes to relieve strain and open the oil glands. Breathe deeply, release tension, and remind yourself, my eyes are healing, my vision is improving, my body knows how to repair itself. Now that you've seen how simple it is to nourish your eyes from the inside out, stay with me, because next I'll share your 14-day checklist, a practical, step-by-step guide to brighter mornings, sharper focus, and lasting eye comfort at any age.
14-day checklist. Now that you've learned how to eat and live for better eye health, it's time to take small, steady steps. Healing your vision isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Here's a simple 14-day roadmap that thousands of seniors around the world have followed to see real, visible improvements. Morning routine. Drink a glass of warm water with lemon to start your metabolism. Eat one eye-friendly breakfast: eggs, leafy greens, and a source of healthy fat like butter, olive oil, or avocado. Take 1 teaspoon of cod liver oil or your omega-3 supplement. Wait at least 30 to 45 minutes before coffee or tea to help your body absorb nutrients properly. Daytime habits. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Add 2 or 3 colors of vegetables to your lunch plate: green, yellow, and red. Drink at least 1 liter of mineral water to stay hydrated. Take short breaks from reading or screen time throughout the day. Evening care. Eat a light dinner: soup, vegetables, whole grains, or lentils. Use a warm compress over your eyelids for 5 minutes to relax your eye muscles and improve tear quality. Reduce bright screen time 1 hour before bed. Sleep 7 to 8 hours in a cool, dark room to let your eyes recover naturally. Weekly routine. Eat fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, or mackerel twice a week. Include dark leafy greens like kale, spinach, or collard greens at least 3 times a week. Add a teaspoon of moringa powder or nutritional yeast daily for carotenoids and B vitamins. Go outside for a walk every day to breathe fresh air and get gentle sunlight. If you follow this plan for just 2 weeks, you'll likely notice subtle but real changes: less dryness, clearer focus, and a sense that your eyes feel awake again. Your eyes heal slowly but faithfully when you give them what they need. Common questions from seniors. Can cataracts really be reversed? Not completely, but you can slow or stop their progression. Antioxidants like vitamin C and E, along with carotenoids, protect the lens from further clouding. Many seniors report brighter vision after months of consistent nutrition. Is it safe to use MSM eye drops? Yes, if they are medical grade and designed for eye use. Never use homemade or cosmetic MSM, as they may not be sterile. Start with 1 or 2 drops daily and watch for irritation. What if I'm diabetic? Keep your blood sugar steady and protect your optic nerves with benfotiamine and B-complex vitamins. Many people notice better night vision and less burning sensation after several weeks. I'm vegan. Can I still follow this? Absolutely. Use chia or flaxseed oil for omega-3s, nutritional yeast for B vitamins, kale and peas for carotenoids, and acerola powder for vitamin C. Eat with color and balance. Can I still watch TV or use my phone? Yes, but use a blue light filter and follow the 20-20-20 rule. Blink more often and choose warm light in the evening. Your eyes don't mind light, they mind strain. Every sip of water, every serving of greens, and every moment you rest your eyes is an act of care. Don't expect overnight miracles, but in 14 days you will start to notice change. Brighter mornings, softer focus, less strain. You are giving your eyes something rare: time, nourishment, and attention. That's how true healing begins. And remember, this is only the beginning. Next, you'll learn how to maintain your results for life and one powerful daily mindset that can change not just how you see the world, but how you feel in it.
Your eyes are more than just how you see. They are the windows to your memories, your emotions, and the way you connect to life. Even after 60, 70, or 80 years, they still have the power to heal, to grow, and to see beauty again. In these last few minutes, you've learned how to nourish your eyes, strengthen your vision, and take back control of your health. One habit, one meal, one quiet moment at a time. If you've come this far, you've already done something many never do. You've chosen hope over fear, action over waiting, and belief over doubt. Because the truth is,
Eyesight doesn't fade only from age. It fades when we stop believing it can get better. But when you believe, when you give your eyes the right care, they begin to respond, gently, slowly, but surely. So start today. Follow your 14-day plan. Drink your water. Eat your colors. Step outside and let the light remind you that healing is still possible. Watch how your eyes and your life begin to brighten again. And if you've ever noticed dark spots, floating shadows, or cloudy vision, don't miss the next video. It will reveal how to naturally reduce eye floaters and cloudiness and uncover the hidden cause of aging eyes. Because sometimes the secret to seeing clearly again isn't just about your vision. It's about the way you choose to see life itself.